the Mbawula chat, guru, specialist, the entrepreneur that is going to share his journey. This Mbawula chat will be facilitated by Bulelani Balabala. You may have seen the face on social media, but who is he? What does he do? Briefly, the name is Teboho. Duduza. The surname is Mthoana. Got it right? Oh, Mthoana. Mthoana. Ah, got it right. All right, so who am I talking about, ladies and gentlemen? Very briefly, this gentleman is a seasoned turnaround professional. Businesses that have gone down and out, specialist at turning them around. Business rescue practitioner and infrastructure investment C-suite business executive with operations in Africa, the UK, and the USA. Oh, come on, that deserves a round of applause. It's not as though this person was born there, but now operating all over the world. Extensive experience in turnaround management, infrastructure investment, mergers, and acquisitions. So you hear about entrepreneurs who are doing extremely well, and people go, but did they study? Or was it just a follow your passion thing? Listen to this. He holds membership in various prestigious associations, including the South African Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioner Admitted. I needed to mention that. The Law Society of South Africa, Turnaround Management SA. Last but not least, as the CEO of Nono Capital, he's spearheading the company's, listen, are you with me? He's spearheading the company's 550 million turnover business. Approximately looking after 1.8 billion assets under management held in various facilities. I've said enough. Do you want to hear from him? Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to hear from Duduza? Let's put our hands together for Duduza. Come. Let's show some love. Duduza, let's show some love. Black Kalayama. Uncle. All right, and this Mbawula chat will be facilitated by Bulelani Balabala.
Yeah. Let's give Sbu a round of applause. Emara, women discriminate. So when the lady spoke about scruffy beards, a lady looked at me, square in the eyes. Give Nyeleti a round of applause, man. Just a big shout out to all the entrepreneurs here. I think if there's anything that's testament to the entrepreneurs in the room or these amazing entrepreneurs here is that if you had to give a mic to any one of them, they would shut down the show. So, I think, coming to gatherings like this is all about, I think for me, being prepared and being ready. Because you don't know who you're going to talk to. And sometimes we think that the most important people that you're going to be talking to are set individuals. But the person next to you is as important because you don't know who they know. And never, ever undermine those people. Because the guy who's struggling with the jobs, uncle might be the CEO of 123 or run a private equity firm, which is my friend here. So ladies and gentlemen, just a quick one. My name is Bulelani Balabala. This segment is called Mbawula Chat. And the whole point of this segment is to profile an entrepreneur. And in this particular case, we've got an amazing entrepreneur who's a Kuruleni born and bred, who will share his journey. But to profile an entrepreneur, has been able to take over the global markets or been able to grow their business significantly. And I think this then becomes the inspirational aspect or segment in the day, having learned about, money wellness, mental wellness and the sort. So let's pretend we don't know you, I don't know you. And many of these amazing entrepreneurs here don't know you. Who's Teboho? And you know what I love about him is, I remember I met him years ago. I'm like, hi Teboho. He's like, no, not Teboho, Teboho. Easy. He's a calm, collected gent. Let's give this amazing gent a round of applause.
Yeah, Bulelani, you killed me. Sanbaran KwaTsaDuza! Nishaba fit. Like Ubulelani has said, my name is Teboho, not Teboho. So I'm the ho, not the ho. So like he has mentioned, so it's important, sometimes so it's a mix. So my name is a registered trademark, guys, so you cannot be used in vain, you'll be sued. Yeah. Yeah. So I come from Ewadville, the Dutch streets of Ewadville. So I'm actually an original child of Egoruleni because I grew up at Ewadville, stayed at Davidton. From Davidton, my first house mail item, a White City. So I've literally lived different parts of Egoruleni as a whole. So yeah, Mengfunda Khutalang Primary School at Twatwa. So yeah, it's important that I say so that like thinking what I went to probably some Wordsworth or some whatever fancy school. I didn't go to any multi-racial school. I went to a proper black primary school and high school. And to a certain extent, I even dropped out of high school. I dropped out of grade 11 because the same medicines in Mekai. So, and I had to go work, So when others were getting an opportunity to go to school, I didn't. So I had to really school myself. So that's why I'm a big believer of education to the good rights. Guys, this day and age that we live in, if ever you've got a cell phone, and if ever you can speak, and you've got the internet, and you broke, it's a choice. Let me repeat that. At this day and age, if you've got a cell phone, if you can speak, and you've got internet, and you broke, that's a choice. Because right now, information has become at their fingertips. So, and at the time, I didn't have an opportunity to go to school, but eventually I had to go to night school. Funda, while other kids, during the day I had to go work. So it's because I wanted to change Isimo Sasekaya. And Kulelem Kukwin, we had one public toilet, one public tap. So, and the way situation in Sasekaya was so bad, the only dream I ever had was to build my mother a house. That's the only dream. But little did I know, fast forward years later, we'll be offering thousands homes. Which I think it's something that's a privilege. So, yeah. So Bulelani, that's where I come from. So, Angazi, what else do you want me to cover?
So I wanted that part as a precursor to the video that we're going to queue up on screen, and then we're going to continue with the Q&A. Is that okay? Cool.
I had an organization which was called Good Hope Center of Consent. He was part of it, where we were assisting the youth and kids. She was very, very supportive. Her killer, she was my shoulder to cry on. She was a peaceful person.
Which has impacted a lot of people through my life as well. So there's no friends of mine that don't know my mother. locally and internationally. You know, so she was a mother. You know, she was a real mother. She was not only a mother to me, but she was a mother to many.
And I'm sure gore mme wa lona o le rutile go phela, o le rutisitse bophelo, o le bontshitse dilo tse right le dilo tse wrong.
Give love, it doesn't cost anything, and make the best out of the love that you have. As Nono Capital, we believe in giving back to the very same communities that we serve. That's why the launch of Nono Foundation. Nono Foundation is a foundation that is going to be focused on developing or giving back to communities, which the focus will be primarily be on children, the focus will be on education, the focus will be on entrepreneurship and innovation. Because right now, reality is, if you've got an idea, it only remains an idea up until you execute it. So therefore, the idea is we want to, along our partners and stakeholders, go into different communities and be able to make a difference and be able to impact lives. Nono Foundation, in partnership with our stakeholders and partners, we've managed to impact and run programs for high school and primary school children across different communities in our country. We've managed to send many to school and give them bursaries and scholarships. And some of the kids that we've sponsored are actually in universities today, locally and abroad. So we've invested and supported a lot of social cause, which is people that are suffering with disabilities, kids that are struggling to go to school. And to that extent, we've even built local clinics for people that are suffering with HIV positive that are able to get there and go get help, whether it's psychological help or it's counseling or even medicine to a certain extent. And we've done this not only in South Africa but within the African continent, so which has been really good. But obviously part of that is that we need to be able to attract foreign investors. That's why we've changed strategy as a business, and now we're tapping into institutional investors and we're bringing opportunities to local people on the street. Nono Capital is a private equity fund that invests in impact businesses that influence businesses that this business was founded by our late founder, Mrs. Mbawula, who was a community builder and a leader in our brand. The vision of our founder was that we invest in businesses that are impacting communities, businesses.
Let's give a round of applause. And the tech team to just sort that out. But this is an amazing gentleman I've had the privilege of knowing for many, many years, who gave me some amazing great opportunities, many great opportunities. So, I mean, you know, he ran multiple businesses, built very big infrastructure projects that I've got privy to. But for me, you know, I think in sort of just stringing the story along with everybody in the room, you sort of told us a bit about who you are, where you come from. When does the entrepreneurship bug bite? And when it bites you, what sort of business, you know, do you start? And then how then do you then transition?
Okay. So, Bulelan, you know, with other people, entrepreneurship, it's mainly a choice. For me, it was a circumstantial thing. Because I grew up raised by Umkulu that were living out of his pension money. So to compensate for the pension and money that was not enough, so we had to sell at home. So I was taking some cold drink, sweets, cigarettes and stuff. So now that's where I think for me, I first was exposed to entrepreneurship. Then at school, because I'm in Ukula, Ukawatega, so I had to sell. So I was selling cake and sweets at school. So that's where I think for me the first launches of entrepreneurship started. So, and I happened to have got to exposed to computers. I taught myself computers from a book. So I actually started off in the IT space. You know how high schools, they do about Mr. and Mrs. So and so. So now I was go SRC. So now the one time we had to go find a DJ. So this particular DJ was using a computer to actually DJ. It was the first time seeing a computer so close, besides Manyo Patari rent or doing whatever. So I think for me that changed my life because you know, there was no way I could have gone home and yet your phone computer. I'm sure I be shang and bam, but we computer self with a phone computer because we couldn't have afforded it, you know. So, but now I think realizing the power in that machine. So I became friends with that guy. So that actually taught me computers. So I started fixing computers within the township. So that's why even when I dropped out of high school, I had actually gotten a job. So at an IT company. So now I had to choose between school, work, school, obviously because the tuition was bad. So I chose, you know, work. So it's actually for me in IT that I started my business or my entrepreneurial back started. Because at the time I was fixing people's computers within Elokshini, within the local libraries and stuff. And little did I know that this thing would actually change my life one day. So that's where the importance of mentorship happened, because along the journey, that's where I met a mentor of mine, a man that changed my life. You know, so, and he asked me one question to say, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a millionaire by the age of 35. Yeah. And he says to me, why do you want to be a millionaire then when you could be a millionaire now? Guys, in Mbawula, we don't talk like that, eh? So for me, that changed my perspective to say, then how would I become a millionaire now? Then he asked me to say, you're fixing computers, would you walk in a net bank and fix their computer? I was like, yeah, no, I can, but I need to walk through dimension data. I will need to walk through whoever. And he says, you see, you're walking through someone else's shadow. Would you walk in a Teboho and fix their computer? And reality is, I wasn't. And oh, my mic was quiet. So I wasn't going to be able to do that. And for me, you know, he says to me, I'll have to teach you how. But the first thing I need to teach you my God. He said, I can teach you how to become a millionaire now, but I'll first have to teach you my God. And at the time, I didn't understand, Uguti, you know, money and business, it's spiritual. So listen to me. I go to church, Roman Catholic, I'm a head chief altar server, I'm giving my Christian credentials. You know how NC people give political... I'm joking. So I was giving my Christian credentials, and yeah. So and with that, I think that with that, it gave me a different perspective to say, reality is coming from Elokshin. We look at ourselves from a context as Elokshin, and we look at ourselves from the context of our background. And with that, that's why we fear taking on big businesses. That's why we fear coming up with crazy ideas. That's why I love to Mama Maratil. If your idea doesn't scare you enough, then from there it's not big enough. So, and I think since then, that's when I've looked at the opportunity from that scale. And Mbawula, I guess he has attested, I've always looked at business from a holistic point of view. I've always not wanted to become a small business because I've realized being a small business, in Karo, you don't grow. Some brands don't want to entertain you. Some people don't want to, do you understand? So therefore, that's why I think I've been doing the businesses that I'm doing up until now.
Let's give him a round of applause. I mean, entrepreneurship in itself is tough. I think much to the topic of the day, right? You know, mental health and wellness, right? I mean, a lot of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs experience, you know, induced by a lot of things, but they end up, you know, driving stress levels high, anxiety, panic, and the sort. How have you been able to deal with that over the years? Because you've ran multiple businesses in multiple industries, some you closed, you know, and then we'll sort of then, I think, then I'll sort of then follow up in engaging around what sort of challenges have you experienced? Because when I look at you now, I think it's when I looked at you then still, you know, you look like someone who had everything all together. So to an entrepreneur like me, who's from the township, it doesn't seem like, isn't just no better. So how do you manage all of that?
Okay. One thing that Mbawula, we must say is that in entrepreneurship, isn't also better all the time. And I've realized to say what sets you apart as entrepreneurship, it's your tolerance level. You know, are you able to handle stress? Are you able to tolerate stress? You know, reality is for the longest time, Mbawula, and I don't want to be sitting here and put it as if I've well put it together. I've gone through depression. And you would know, since you follow me on my social media, I've also sometimes posted about it. I think especially because for the longest time I was growing, you know, wanting to work to make my mother happy. And I was living for her. And the day she died, I had to learn now, how do I live for myself? Because I've never had to live for myself. Do you understand? And right now, one thing is, what I was not aware or acknowledging was the fact that while she was still alive, she was actually my counselor. Because she was the one who would say, encourage me and say, you know, if there's one person that can do this, it's you. You know, if ever there's one person that can make this happen, it's you. So, and with that, you realize to say, it's important to say who surrounds you. Guys, it's important who surrounds you. So, as Bulelani mentioned, Bulelani, we come far. So, in my other life, I used to be a broadcaster. So, and Bulelani has always wanted to be a speaker and whatever. Bulelani used to come watch me do my show. Do you understand? But because I knew that someone opened up a door for me, do you understand? And I took him as a brother. And that's why, you know, we have the relationship that we had. So, and for me, that's why one of the people that obviously influenced me, it was people that I have like him. That Magunzima, you'll be able to say, hey, in fact, you know, invoices are not paid, salaries are not paid, or things like that. So, because people that surround you, it needs to be people that believe in you, they'll be able to encourage you. And one of the things that I need to say and put it out there, guys, there's nothing wrong with seeking help, Buffett. There's nothing wrong with getting professional help. So one of the things that I needed to do, I had to get professional help in terms of attending a therapist. So, and really talk about the fact that we get damaged. You know, we've got our own family members telling us that we are useless, will amount to nothing. So, and some of these things, you know, they break you. And that's why sometimes we grow up to become a broken adults. You know, we become broken parents, we could become broken business people. Ngapha you could imagine, ubunzima basekhaya, ngapha it's business, it's society, it's all of these things. Maslangana kuwe one, you are unable to handle this. Do you understand? So that's why right now, be with friends that see what you see, that believe in what you do, so that whenever difficulty hits, you know, niyakwazi ukuthi motivator ukuthi mfethu, how do I get out of this one? Do you understand? And there's times that, you know what, I've not had money for petrol. He has poured me petrol. There's money that he has not had petrol. I had poured him petrol. Do you understand? And same goes to other people that I was in. Reality is, mental, guys, health is real. So it's important that you look after your mind, because when your mind is looked after, then you're able to do productive things. That's why as a business, one of the key industries that we invested in, it's healthcare. So we've invested into a business called Rishile Healthcare. So with that, we're looking after mental wellness for young people within colleges. I mean, we're currently looking after 22,000 young people. So we've got counselors, we've got psychologists, we've got this and that. It's because we've seen the value of mental wellness. It's because right now, if ever you don't have your mind put together right, you do understand, whatever that you're trying to do in terms of business or in society, it's gonna be, you know. And most importantly, what do you feed yourself? What do you listen to? I always say, Guti, are you gonna be following people that you on social media? People that are posting nothing but parties and this and this. There's nothing that's growing you. How's that impacting you? But people that you follow, it's people that are sharing content that is educational to you and that is growing you. That thing helps you as well from a mental point of view. Because the reality is, you feed yourself with crap, you're bound to take out crap.
Sure. Round of applause. Thank you. So, I mean, I like some of the notes and high-level items that you sort of spoke about, right? For me, you know, when you talk about being a kid, you're meeting this mentor. Maybe let's talk a bit about that. How important was that relationship with that mentor? You know, would you sort of talk about the mindset, right? Having to rewire or sort of unlearn some of the things that you were taught or learned along the way, you know, that were stifling, you know, thinking up new ideas, thinking up new possibilities. How important was that relationship for you? What did it unlock? And how can some of these entrepreneurs who are in this room, you know, establish the right type of relationship with the right type of individuals?
Yeah. Me meeting that mentor was life-changing for me. Some of you guys, you might know the guy that taught me business. His name is Zibusiso Mkhwanazi. He runs a company called Avatar today. So, so for me, it was everything, having him in my life, because one, mentorship exposes you. He exposed me. The man was exposed. Do you understand? And two, that mentorship shaped my values. So for me, it was all about, obviously, people we look up to, it's thugs. It's people that are doing wrong things and this and that. Do you understand? And you're thinking what that is impilo. So, but for me, being exposed to someone like him, really shaped my values to say, no, there's other people that are striving for perfection. It's not every mentor that you need to look up to that it needs to be driving this beautiful car or that needs to be living in this fancy house and this and that. Just and it could be Ubaba Wala Paya, on a focus that can teach you out of his mistakes. So this is the mistakes that I did. Don't do this. So therefore, for me, with that exposure, it taught me to as in hlonipha wonke umuntu. Guys, one thing I can tell you, I'm living very comfortable and very well. But umuntu nyamas. Because I've understood Uti, I'm where I am not because I'm smart, because I'm privileged to be here. So I'm blessed, so in order to become a blessing to other people. Do you understand? So if ever when you're gonna want to be chasing people that are only doing well, you're gonna miss out on some other things. I've gone to companies where I've met securities, cleaners that have told me, you see here, you see oya lapa. By the time you sit in front of the table, you already have an unfair advantage. Do you understand? So sometimes we because we want the big things, and right now Ubulena is my win. Have I ever disrespected you or anybody? Yeah. I don't. Do you understand? So it's really that, and that's where for me I've realized with really mentorship, it could be a person that you meet. It could be your friend, it could be whatever. So that's why right now today I value mentorship and Uguti serve. If somebody is there to mentor you, do you understand? I mean, for me, I was young, I was stupid, and as much as I had an amazing mentor, at the same point, I did my own mistakes. Do you understand? In terms of messing him up. Do you understand? So, and with that, you realize, Uguti, sometimes it's important to have people that look at, you in a bigger picture. Let me make an example. Umama spoke about having a team of advisors, whether you've been graduate or whatever around you. It's important in our business, we call those people gray hairs. It's people that have walked your journey. So, because right now your company is sasengane, so you might not be able to afford to have a board of directors like ourselves that you can pay. But there's a lot of people around you that know something that you don't. And that want what's best for you. Do you understand? And these are the people that could be in a position to mentor you. I mean, I've got mentors in my personal life in terms of from my relationship point of view. I've got mentors professional. I've got mentors academically. And with that has helped me, Uguti, see life in Indlela. I mean, Izolo, I was a high school dropout. Today I'm pursuing my PhD. I'm soon to be Dr. T. Yeah. And let me tell you, in my family, I don't know somebody like that. I don't know somebody figure lang figure con. Do you understand? And for me, it's those mentors that have said to me, you know what? Want different. And that's why whenever I go gym, and not to say only I'm going to support, but it's because I want to go get reminded, or I don't want to end up like any. Do you understand? I want to get reminded that why, we want to do this differently. That's why even in the launch of the foundation, it's so that around me, there shouldn't be a child that struggles to go to school in corner, guys. Do you understand? And that's why we're building the business so that we're not able to mentor. And that's why right now, the kind of businesses that we have, I mean, a private equity fund, we invest in businesses, we buy businesses, we turn around businesses. On the 1st of September, we launched a 500 million fund. And by now, you realize what you can give money, but if ever you're not there to mentor these businesses, you're killing them. So we already have expertise of turning around these businesses to say not only we want to give them money, but we want to mentor to really turn around these businesses. So right now, what I'm going to say to you is find yourself a mentor. 3 kinds of people as I close this part, who speaks over you that can either make you and that can either break you. Yeah. So who you decide to share your bed with, that can make you and that can break you. So who you decide to go into business with, that can make you and that can break you. So decide amongst these three who you're going to have in your life and choose them carefully.
So, okay, bro. So you're this kid, you grow into this entrepreneur, you make money. How was your relationship with money? You know, did you blow it all? Like Mawendi is saying, did you go to the Shisanyama and say, all the verbs are on me, put them on the table? You know, what was the relationship like? And I think, what are some of the money lessons you've learned, or one or two that have stood out for you over the years?
Okay. So reality is, Bolana, the difficult thing about growing up in poverty, the minute you start having money, Guinea, you the first one to have this kind of money. So abanayo. So therefore, how do they advise you nabangentong bangayas? So to them, because you managed to make this money, so it means you've got money wisdom. So it means now you can, do you understand? Which I think that was the biggest fault. I'll make an example. I mean, I made my first million at 23 years of age. So, yeah, I'm sure. Remember, I was a millionaire now, not long at 35. So, yeah, and I've only been, 35, 3 years ago? So you could imagine. So how long was that? So now, one of the biggest mistakes that for me I had, and at the time I think I didn't understand. Oguti guys, having money means nothing. It's just that the fact that you just have more options than another person. Do you understand? So, and I didn't understand that. For me, I thought having money is everything. Because right now, you start having fake friends. So, abazo hamba now because now you can afford a certain lifestyle. So, which now are supposedly, you know, says Puza EVSOP, or now we're not doing this, we're doing that, you know. And let me tell you, the minute you own a mali, you know, machita, women bazos pawns. Do you understand? I numbers pawns and I'm as pawns. So, and it's no lie. Do you understand? So you start having all of this fictitious life, so that when you think, which I know now you have arrived, and where you start realizing, which all of this life that you were having, it's fake. It's the minute you start losing everything. Because let me tell you, because I didn't understand the value of money, and I didn't understand the spirituality of money, I wasted money. You know, I didn't know nothing about investing. I didn't know nothing about saving, and I had no interest. Do you understand? So, and I was spending. And now you start becoming so busy living the life of spending, of doing this and this. You forget the very same thing that got you there, which was the very same business. And guess what? Manje mabakhuza abantwana babo ngawe ukuthi yabona uzofana naye. Do you understand? So because remember I was a high school dropout, I'm trying to whatever. So would you lose relevance? You know? So guys, one thing I must tell you, forget about being relevant, eh? So knowing what I know now, I thank God I'd rather be Upar than Dutlev. But let me tell you, I'd rather be Upar that smiles to the bank, eh? So, because you know, we've got a lot of alcohol places at Gurleni. You know, I'm options. I mean, Konabo Bahama, Konabo Ban, do you understand? So, and you always have these things because now I understand. So, but one thing that I can ask you, Ogoti, when you live here today, there's one goal that you must have is how could you learn about money? What can you teach or learn about financial literacy? Because the minute you understand better about money, I can tell you not only that you'll be able to handle it, but you'll be able to make it. You know, that's why in our business, we've got a company called Wealth Path. So with Wealth Path, we teach people how to create wealth, not change wealth. Do you understand? Uguti, right now, what can you put measures in place, you know, so that could protect you? Let me make an example in the room. Look at this, Bulelan. So by a show of hands in this room, how many people have got a will? Okay, so please drop the hand. So how many people have got houses? A house. So from those, keep your hand up, laba with houses. So if the house that you have, it's a house ohlala kuyo, drop your hand. If the house you have, it's a house ohlala kuyo, drop your hand. Can you see the room? It's not even 10%. Do you understand? So it's things like these that there's things that I've learned now that I realize they're not necessarily for the rich, but it has a lot to do with financial literacy. Osisi spoke about credit. There's what we call good credit and bad credit. Do you understand? So right now, our white counterparts, they make wealth out of credit. Tina, we create liabilities out of credit. So, but if ever you could understand imali better, you start realizing, Guti, the greatest thing that we have, it's this. So let me make an example. How many of us have got a pay slip? Who's working and who's got a pay slip? Okay. So now, there's a few people. Do you know what in our country, in South Africa, we've got a housing subsidy program called FLISP. It's for first-time homeowners. And it says, Uguti, you need to at least earn the minimum of 3,500. Do you know how many of you a month make and eat more than 3,500? So, but right now, if you could start understanding financial literacy and look at this differently and start paying yourself 3,500, then you're able to showcase that you can afford or you're earning 3,500. So therefore, with a pay slip, then you're able to get a bond. And with that, you're able to get it flips. It flips, it means it's a grant that the government gives you 122,000 free money to jail that you don't need to pay back. So do you understand what, even if we understood that, your helper and do you understand? So there's small things like that you realize, we've got those opportunities in our country, but we don't access them because we do not know or we do not understand financial literacy. In our very own country, do you know how many funds that we have that are there for black property developers? People that want to get into the property space. Do you understand? Same goes for business. I could give you a list. And I've realized to say, I get paid a lot of money because I've given myself an advantage. I'm solving people's problems. Do you understand? So it goes back to that thing. Guys, financial literacy is important. So, and the minute you start perceiving and looking at money and understanding money differently, you'll start making different money as well. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, what is the one or what is the single piece of advice that you've received that has always stuck with you or just shaped or changed the way you think without taking away any other piece of advice you have, because growth is not singular?
True. Yeah. So the most piece of advice that I got, it was actually two, Bulelan. So one, it was the very same mentor that changed my life. He says to me, the problem with black people, we fear making profit. Let me repeat that. As black people, we fear making profit. Because I don't know how many of you guys are selling products. So, but in terms of you guys, from your profitability of your product, you guys look at if I can make 20%, 30% margins and this and that. Guys, some margins I make 1,000% margins. Do you understand? So, but because right now I've realized to say, it comes then to the second advice, which is my most important advice with Ubulan and what he's asked. So that second advice was the question to say, stop being a service provider, start being a solution provider. Let me repeat that. Stop being a service provider, but start being a solution provider. So with that, it means right now as an entrepreneur, entrepreneurs are those that see opportunities where others don't. So, and the one that solves the highest problem sends the highest invoice. So now, in your workplace or in your business, what problem are you solving? And whose problem are you solving? And how are you solving the problem? So Guti, the minute you can answer those three things, this will also influence the kind of business that you engage in. This will also influence the kind of businesses that you partake in. Because right now, you want to start looking to say, right now, let me make an example with tea. Tea have identified, Guti, there's a problem in the township. Guti, there's a lot of amazing businesses, but that are not getting what positioning or that are not getting a market fit. So what problem that is he solving? His problem that he's bringing brands onto the township and he's taking township to brands. Do you understand? So that's why some brands partner with him to come make this possible, to come speak to you. So reality is, would Nedbank spend money to come speak to you if ever they didn't see value in you? Exactly. So it means that right now, he's solving a problem for Nedbank. So to say you are their potential clients, because as you grow, you're able to transact, they're able to give you product fit and this and this and this and that. Do you understand? So, but right now, when are you the only person in it, I'm trying to survive so that I can put food on the table. So now, that's the question that you must ask yourself when you leave today. What problem are you solving? Whose problem are you solving? And how are you solving it? If you can answer these three questions in your business, you'd start looking at your business differently and you'd start treating your business different. That's the best advice I got.
Now, just give me, an idea. When you started your business, sort of alluded that you sort of started the computers and the sort, and then you obviously have grown, right? To these amazing entrepreneurs that are here, sometimes you've got this idea, but it's a bit of a difficulty or a challenge to break away from this limiting mindset, right? That's the one. But over and above that as well, someone here who's really just thinking, how do I craft? I've already started, because majority of these amazing entrepreneurs that are here have started. But how, what are some of the things I can consider in crafting this business and tuning it in the right way?
Okay. So one of the key things, Bulelane, in terms of, remember, professional, I'm a turnaround practitioner. So in terms of dealing with these businesses, we have realized to say these businesses are so focused on giving us the product. To say my business is I'm selling water. So therefore, how can I best sell this water? So, and you realize to say, as businesses, we do not focus on our business model. So, as a business, what is your business model? Can you write business model canvas? Business model canvas. There's what we call a business model canvas. So you can find it on YouTube. You can watch videos about it on YouTube. You can even download on Google business model canvas templates. So a business model canvas speaks to, it asks you questions to say, who's your target market as a business? Who are you targeting? Right now, what time is it? It's 1:10. So your potential customer, as we speak, where are they and what are they doing? So, because right now you need to be able to answer that question. You cannot say who you're servicing. No, I'm servicing everyone. Do you understand? Right now, guys, I've understood in my business, not everyone is my target market. I'm fully anyone. Do you understand? But I want people that have what? Good balance sheet, that have good, or people that want to change in Pilozabo. Because those are the people that you can work with. Do you understand? So it's not everyone. So with a business model canvas, it gives you things like that to say, how do you then reach your customers? So it gives you all of those things that are thought-provoking questions that help you look at your business differently. So because at the same time, when I come as an investor, the one thing that I want to buy into is your business model. To say your business model is focused on this. Because if ever your business model is water, do you understand? Reality is there's many people selling water, there's nothing that might set you apart. So just like right now, when you go to McDonald's, their business model is not beggars. Their business model is property. So right now, that's wherever you see a McDonald's, it's sitting in prime locations, in prime spots, because that's where the beggars are just there to pay the Duduza, the property. And you look at the likes of your Woolies. What's their business model? It's convenient. So they're not targeting everyone, but they're targeting people that are busy. They do not have time to sit and wait for your oxtail 2 hours. They'll sell me to your oxtail 10 minutes. Do you understand? And they know to those people don't mind selling. So reality is their product could be retail, but their target market or their business model speaks to something else. So right now, this is something that you need to look at your business to say, right now, in terms of you selling water, what about the water? Because other people are selling the water. Or what is your business model about? That is one. And two, and lastly, one thing that I want to speak to, take your business serious from day one. Make sure that your documentation is in order. So, because once you've put together your business model, the minute you're going to come to me and your papers are not in order, the reason we cannot access the likes of your net bank is because our papers are not in order. Imali yako yako. Do you understand? Imali business yako. You've not separated yourself in terms of the business money and your money. You don't have things like your management accounts. You don't have things like these. And reality is we're living in an age where now you don't even need professionals to do these things. Guys, there's what we call ChatGPT. Do you know how many AI tools are there that could solve problems for your business? That could give you solutions on how to package your business and how to even take your business out there without having to pay a consultant, without having to do whatever. Do you understand? And it's really in those things that I've realized to say, once you take your business serious, your business might be making a mere 50,000, but someone will be willing to give you the money because you're able to account for every cent that comes in, whether it's your raw material, whether it's your this and that. I go to disappear imali, then we are unable to do this and that. So I've realized to say, the business model and business compliance for me are the two important things.
I mean, entrepreneurship in and itself is a journey filled with a lot of failures and rejections, right? From failed sales pitches to rejected proposals to failed clients, or being having contracts cancelled and the sort. How have you worked around that level of rejection and failure? Because oftentimes I engage with entrepreneurs, so they fear selling because of
rejection,
of the idea that they might be rejected. And sometimes they are the ones who get rejected and internalize it, and I guess that what then ends up leading to anxiety and stress.
Okay. So, for me, Bulelana, how I've gotten over that is that it's important to motivate yourself. Because sometimes you don't want to have Bulelana or anybody to motivate you. After you got rejected, guess what? You are alone, or whatever again. Do you understand? So it's important to motivate yourself. So for me, I've always looked at the rejection as an opportunity to do something better. So I've always looked at to say, why do I get rejected? And for me, if you close a door for me, let me tell you, ngena ngefestere. So, and if you close the window, ngena ngeroof. So, and for me, if you close that, for me, it creates an opportunity to create my own door. Reality is people that do what I do, it's people that have went to these fancy schools, that have worked for bank so and so, or financial institution so and so, and this and that. Do you understand? So there's no room for people like me. And reality is, if there's no room for people like me, there's no room for businesses that's a solution. How many businesses are a solution you're hearing that they're being financed? It's not a lot. If they are not financed by a government, do you understand? You hardly get as private equity funders funding them. Do you understand? So that's why, because I've had so many doors closing in my face, I decided to to open up a door so that we're able to invest in people that were like me 10 years, 15 years ago. Do you understand? So that we're able to really invest in those businesses. So the reality is, it's important that who's motivated, guys. Speak to yourself. Some of us, our faith, my faith was important to me, Bulela Noguti. Where there is rejection? For me, I would read, what does the Bible say? The Bible says, I'm the head, not the tail. Do you understand? So therefore, with what are those things? So I would reaffirm myself based on what the Bible says. That's why right now, Mengiz Tintita and Chase a Pegala door. Or Mark Valega logo, so then I would have gotten a lesson. Sometimes I'll go back and ask them, Guti, since you rejected me, what did I do wrong? Baba Kulu Moguti, your tax clearance, or you're this, because others are willing to help. They would give you constructive feedback. So sometimes, asas, because we don't want to be criticized. We don't want to get constructive feedback. Let me tell you, the most constructive feedback that I ever got, I know some of you guys are doing it. So I started off, at some point I was running a construction business. So I asked this client, but why are you shutting this door for me? He said something very profound, and that taught me. He says, the problem with you, you're trying to be everything to everyone. You know, your company profile, you are a painter, electrical company, you are a builder, you are a civil, you are this, you are this, you are this and this. So, and he asked me, what is your speciality? So he says, you say I run this project. I can rather have 15 companies that specialize in something that can come and do whatever. And there's some of them that will be expensive. I know they won't drop the ball because they specialize. But right now, if ever I'm going to have a company like yourself, ninin soya penda, ninin soya yaka, ninin soya plastara, ninin soya, do you understand? There is no area of a speciality. So that's why right now I cannot give you imali that is worth ilontuza because you're doing everything to everyone. So it's like being a jack of all trade but master of none. And that part really, spoke to me, and I realized to say, this is a mistake that we're doing as, as black people, as township businesses. Uzane a company profile that has all of these things. But if ever you can focus on one thing, which my thing is I paint. So give me anything that has to do with paint bona, I can produce it for you. Then even if figure somebody or charge 10,000 for a paint, when you figure or charge 14,000, you might get the job because you specialize. And I'm seeing how much I'm paying people that specialize in my business. And some of them, I pay them a lot of money, and I see how much I get paid because I specialize. And for me, now, the reason I'm in this business, I realize, what is my core? Guys, I realize I hate lento ukuthi ngigijimisa namasiment and I hate lento ukuthi I'm going to do this thing. What I'm good at, it's turning around businesses. It's doing business operations. So that's why now I'm doing a business that does business operations. Do you understand? So that's why I buy all of these businesses across different industries. I know my job is to get the tandem around. And that's what I do. Wanting to be seen, getting quotations, doing this and that. No, I'd rather get with people that specialize. And I don't know how many opportunities that I've said that sometimes we've even charged 3 times better than other people. But guess what? Comes to the solution, we're the one that come up with a better solution. But budget but we are not and they pay. Others, they'd rather come and negotiate with, he hasn't cut a 5,000 yana, but we want you.
Let's give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a whole list of questions here, right? But it would be unfair for me to ask all of them. I would like to now open up the platform to anyone who's got questions. If you've got a daring question, you can raise your hand. The guys at the back will prepare a mic. Okay, I've got the lady there, I've got the gent. So what I'm gonna ask we do, we've got an X marks the spot right next to the stage down here. If you wanna ask a question, you'll just come in this motion to the front here. I think the first 5, we've got a gent, please come, sir. We've got the lady at the back, the gent, okay, cool, we've got our 5. Just please come this direction over here. The gents, Evans, Mike. Yeah, please. Yeah. Thank you. I think maybe what you can do so that I don't slave you guys, you can maybe grab a seat in the pitcher's chairs in the meantime. Milady, you can ask, but also take advantage of the opportunity. Don't just ask the question, punch your business a little bit higher. My name is 123, I do 123. My question is, and 1 question per person because of time.
Sanbanani. Lekai? Wonderful. My name is Neosiale Maruleka, and I represent an organization called Gender-Based Protection and Safety. So the purpose of the organization is to change the mindset of community and the world on how they focus and address gender-based violence. So one question that I want to ask you, have you ever noticed whenever ka August or ka December, whenever they say we are fighting gender-based violence, what happens? More reports of gender-based violence happens. So what we're saying is people are actually speaking violent, gender-based violence. So we're trying to change the world on a global spoke to say, change how you speak. If you change how you think, you change how you speak, you change how you act. You protect your community, you protect business and so forth. So the question that I wanna ask you, as a newly formed organization, we started last year, how can we work with you? Because my team does not understand my vision. My strategy is to raise 9 billion, and that figure scares them to such a point where they're fighting with me in every element that I go. So I need somebody who's a mentor, a visionary, somebody who's exposure to the global market to say, this is how you can do it. So that's what I want to do. And can we work with you? Are you even open to working with people, or is there a specific type of people that you work with? That's number one. Number two, sorry, I want to break the African borders. I want to trade globally. We've got African products that we can be proud of that heal, medicinal, beauty, and so forth. Ke kgathetse ke ma China, ke kgathetse ke Japan. I want to push African products. Got the African diaspora. I want to break that barrier. I also need help with people that have got exposure to the African market and global. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I don't know, I think so that I do not forget questions, can maybe I answer after one has asked.
After, okay, perfect.
No, I'm saying.
No, you can take it,
yeah.
so that you don't forget.
Yes, yeah. Okay. So, no, I think, guys, I think let's give you a round of applause. So, one of the things that I always say, Guti, guys, dreaming is free. So, you don't pay to dream, so you might as well dream and dream big. So, but I think let's get you to eat first. Before you make 9 billion, you need to survive. You need to be able to fly to Durban, fly to Cape Town, fly to the diaspora. So now, the beauty about it's either when they read my profile, they cut it. Last year, I had the privilege of being co-opted by the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, and the Chair, Dr. Judith Lamini, and the head of ABSA, to be part of an organization called the GBVF Response Fund. So to date, we've raised up to 150 million with the intention of raising $1 billion. So it's a presidential private sector-led fund. So part of what we exist as an organization is to fund organizations like yourself that want to exist, and really promote the GBV or to stand against gender-based violence. So right now, Google it, GBVF Response Fund. So so reach out and put in an application. So then from there, let's get you to be able to pay salaries, and let's get you to be able to get your thinking out there. Start small and grow eventually. With that. So, and I'm more than willing to help you along the way. Guys, who you're following on social media is important. So I'm not going to give out my number. Find me and let's talk.
Sir, next question. Thank you.
Sanbonani. Igama ngubongo Mosatwala, but I'm called Utwala. I'm the founder and the employee of Kasi Kitchen. That was founded in 2019. Okay, I almost pitched. But what I want to tap into, it's something that you also mentioned. Okay, last year I was given a chance to pitch for my business, which I won 20,000 on that one. And then I got a mentor. But then my mentor, she was something else. I would tell you, I got the money, I bought few of the other stuff on the business, but I wouldn't tell you what happened to the rest of the money because of my mentor. So now my question is, how do you actually choose a correct mentor that will help you to grow your business? Another thing is the one that you also touched. How do you trust the right people to do business with? After, not so long ago, I did business with some other people, only to find out at the end of the day, I was the one who kicked out and they used my idea. They living today, they eating with my idea. Now I'm operating mobilely. So now I want to know, how do you actually change that? How do you deal with that? Because that can break you and that can leave you without nothing, which already did to me. So I want to know, how can we change that one? How can one face it and be able to overcome it? I don't know if you get me.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Okay, but I guess maybe I'll understand the dynamics later. I'm curious as to how does the mentor, 20,000 is your mentor.
Because you said the mentor is something else, and I thought something good or something bad.
Yeah.
Something not good, okay.
Okay. So, guys, right now, you know yourself. So, reality is sometimes the mentor that you're trying to reach out to, maybe it's somebody that is busy, that might not have time to give you time of day. And two, sometimes you might find the mentor that you have, it's a mentor that is not aligned with you from a value perspective. Guys, alignment is important. Do you understand? So not only in mentorship, but even in relationship, If ever right now, Tina, so you know how much I love you 3, I love you 10. And there's nothing else that we're bringing, as men. Just and life is too short. So you need to be aligned in terms of your friendships. You need to be aligned in terms of relationships. Same goes business association. Same goes for that mentor. It's one of the things that I said, it's important who speaks over your life because that can make you or break you. That's a mentor. So now, get a mentor that is aligned with you. Just, and I remember so if ever you've discovered that this mentor is not aligned with you, there's nothing wrong with changing or getting to another mentor. So one of the things that was a challenge for me, especially in the township, Ubulelani would attest, especially within township businesses, it's difficult for us to get mentors. It's very difficult for us to get mentors, because right now either ba busy, umuntu omfunayo, or lo munye akayiboni la idea yakho and this and that. So and therefore, what I started deciding to do, I decided to pay for coaches. So then from there I realized right now, because from a mentorship point of view, I say let me rather get a coach, somebody that I could pay for. So me and I, we've got a service level agreement. My job is to pay you. When are your deliverables with my business or with my life? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do you understand? So therefore, it becomes a transaction. So it means I'm buying a service from them. So then I realized to say right now, from a coaching point of view, that's what started giving me value, better than having a mentor. So, but now it's interesting. Now, when you start doing well, then all of a sudden, I'm a mentor. So I have it. Do you understand? So, because other mentors, they prefer to be mentoring you if ever you are doing well. So it really depends to what works for you. Do you understand? So right now, you might not have money to pay a coach, but right now you might be offering a service to say, this is how best I could serve you. I could serve you, or maybe if I'm doing branding, I'm doing this. This is the amount of value that I could give you or that I could serve you. So in exchange for a coaching session or in exchange for this and this and this and this, and therefore you're able to do it. And right now, if your mentorship is going to be informal, half of the time it doesn't work. Have a mentorship agreement. Right now, I'd like to enter into a mentorship agreement with you. So therefore, as my mentor, I'd like you to help me with this and this and that. That also holds them accountable, and it holds you accountable. Because right now, gulula go to do a gentleman's agreement when aksasa, but in case achieves yadla, so quickly with this meeting that I'm getting paid a lot of money for, but I've given that time to you basically when you leave. Because reality is other mentors, nabo they've tried it, nabo bashile. Do you understand? So we may never really know, but find a way of structuring it. Nabo na no person who approach you, abo no go to you are serious about doing something, and so that they're able to give you that in exchange for that. Yeah, I hope I've answered. You had 2 questions. I've answered, ne?
Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay, sure.
Ma'am? Oh, there's a new marker. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, bo.
For me, what you've spoken through, it made a lot of sense, right? So what my request is, can I have 2 hours of your time to polish up my business model canvas and my value proposition? Because I'm in an industry where it's really male dominated, and plus I'm not a cannabis farmer, so how to measure myself with the market as well, and also to boardroom etiquette, so that, because now my products are actually SABS tested, so we want to go into the formal market. But in a way, I need guidance. If you can borrow me just 2 hours of your time.
Okay, I'm not borrowing, I'm investing 2 hours of my time.
Done. We've got the last gentleman out there. That is the last gentleman, right? Yeah.
That's a
Oh, yeah, I forgot the lady, yeah. The gentleman and the lady. No, that gent. Zwagala, come in. Yeah, here's your spot over here, sir.
Sanbola?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I'm introduce my name is Piwe, the founder of SPP Enterprise Archer. Abuti Teboho, not Teboho, Abuti Teboho.
Yes.
Because Kibona the well discipline thing. And the Kimoti question, what makes you to become disciplined and consistent in your finances and in your journey? Key thing like the challenges to company and that's all. Because everyone we are saying about entrepreneurship is very, very hard. It can understand the topic health mentality. Some of us you want go to where over broke, where you can't even do anything. But okay, I'm still going forward. King to allow push on given a generational wealth. Today, like I explain already, in Kaiko, UK, Kaikai. King push it in fit tutor so that we can do Hanyana step by step. Thank you for my question.
Thank you, sir.
So for me is, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I hated my situation and being in poverty so bad, that I wanted to change it. And the one thing that keeps me disciplined is the fear of going back. Guys, I don't want to go back there. And I don't want my kids to experience that. I'm not a trust baby, my kids are. So for me, it's that makes me sleep, or that gives me sleepless night. It's the fact that I don't want to go back there. So therefore, the discipline that I need to wake up, I need to pick up that call and make that, I need to send that email. So I need to bangen. So because if ever I do not do that, therefore there's no sustenance. So if ever I do not do that, therefore I cannot keep money coming in. So that's why one of the things that I do mainly and that I focus on is investing. I hate money sitting in the account. The minute you get money, it put me up. The minute 100 rands comes, the one thing that I focus on, how can I multiply this 100 rand, or how much can this 100 rand buy me? Because I'm in the business of selling money. So if it's 1,000 rand, how much can this 1,000 rand, buy me? Because right now I realize to say, the minute Nkawatega, I've experienced challenges. Remember I said in Nkawatega, I've gone back to the township, I don't know how many times. And now the reality is ubuya and puma. So now that's where right now, in terms of now building, I'm kind of building asset protection structures around me. So that go to Namen, Nomanga Kawatega, Lokshinangi. I've got a couple of properties that are, so that's why right now for me it's a question to say, I've got assets that I've built that are maintaining my lifestyle. So Uguti, right now you could be staying, then you hambang a motor, but you've got a property that pays for that car. You're staying in a house, you've got a property or you've got an investment that pays for that. So therefore it doesn't directly rely on you from a salary point of view. So it's things like these that I started thinking differently, and that's why I teach people how to do these things so that nabobanga live in hand to mouth. Because guys, hand to mouth, the minute ukawatega or there's a hole, there you start realizing it's a problem. Because one of my biggest mistakes was that when I was doing all of this thing of doing everything or trying to be everything to everyone, I had all my eggs in one basket. And the minute that basket then it's an issue. So that's where right now to say then how can you build multiple baskets? So that at the end of the day, no mukawatega basket, at least there's other baskets that are keeping you afloat. There's other baskets that are maintaining your lifestyle or that are doing this and that. So it's really that's why right now, these are the conversations that I want to have with my friends over the braai. I don't want to be discussing and discussing lawyer mtana lawyer umuhle lawyer akusize ngalutho or ukuthi bani bani uyabona zikhipha kuphi, but let's discuss how can we then empower each other so that we sit in a better position. It's nicer as friends if ever you guys, let me tell you, you're driving beautiful cars, you're staying in beautiful houses. Ichincha nama taste bad, guys.
Thank you so much, sir. Milady, last to ask a question, then we close it off. Thank you so much also for you guys being so engaged. Yes, ma'am.
Dumelang. My name is Lucia. I do health and beauty. I'll just highlight a little bit about where I come from. So I went to school here at Fred Habedi, and I like to thank God for that because that was my fundamental seed. When I was in Fred Habedi, I grew up in a different family background. People in my family, we are very competitive. It's about who's at the top of the food chain every time. But I thank God for that school because that school once taught me that suffer now and enjoy later every time. And it's not about who's on top of the food chain, but who's changing people's lives. So through that, I started initiating myself into participating into projects. My first traveling experience was for free. I was in the Soul Buddies team. I went to Mpumalanga for 7 days. at a 7-star hotel. Then that opened my mind. I realized I could go anywhere just by partaking and initiating myself in projects that could help empower other people. Secondly, then I went to Mbawula High School. I became one of the treasurers in the president team. Then I moved on, and then same like everybody else, I didn't have money to pursue my career in accounting. Then I started doing marketing and sales. I did promotions for the Creative Council, Provantage Media Group. Then I went on to Mall of Africa to work for Nike Sportswear. I worked for Decoland. And then I got an opportunity to go to the Middle East in Abu Dhabi, not in Dubai, but in Abu Dhabi, to work for Warner Brothers World Abu Dhabi at a theme park. So then I learned that my passion actually is to make people look good, because 10 feet, 5 feet down the line, you look at how I am. And then before I even say anything, then you had already judged if you're gonna talk to me or you're not gonna even entertain what I'm going to say to you. So that taught me a principle that, you know what, if I could actually make people feel good about themselves and look good, that would actually empower me as an individual. I even went on to teach people Intel computer basic skills. We had a program here in Kwa-Thema. And then, so going forward, just to speak about my business, I needed advice from you, because I know you said we must dream big, right? And I'm dreaming big because I want to be like Amazon, where I have beauty products that are not endorsed in South Africa, not even in a bigger range of price that could even serve people on a lower market. But now what's disturbing me is that how do I then, like for example, ever since the COVID began, I had problems with cargos, shipments, getting the products this side because of licensing and certain things. But believe me, I have connections for diamonds, connections for sterling stones, connections for all types of, what can I say, minerals that I'm going to use to reproduce products that deal with acne, skin discoloration, skin pigmentation, ultra UV lighting, sunscreens that are up to 90%, and which are not here, because most of them we have up to 50% here in our country. So with that being said, I'd like to actually ask for your mentorship in terms of wealth development, and in terms of also creating that supply chain for, to be like Amazon, you know, to beat the GDP in South Africa. Because I'm aiming big.
Thank you so much, my lady. Thank you.
So what you said is profound. So, but now I think in terms of in terms of I think from a mentorship point of view, remember I spoke about the issue of time. So so but what I can do, I can have an hour session with you, so that we narrow down what you're trying to do, because it's all good and audacious, but now there's a lot of things that you've mentioned that don't relate. Minerals, diamonds, you know, beauty and whatsoever. Reality is, guys, the beauty market in this world, even in our country, it's big. I know people that are making serious millions in terms of, you know, the beauty industry. I'll actually introduce you to one. I'll pay for the lunch. You have lunch with her. Ask her whatever that you want to ask her. So, yeah, but right now, but right now, what will be important is before you meet with the person, because you can't embarrass me and get there speaking about other things. Let's narrow down. Then let's identify what is it that you're trying to do, or what is it that you want to do, and how you do it. Do you understand? If other things are things that could be linked or that could help you kick up, you know, it's not everything that you need to share. Certain things, keep them to yourself, because the minute now you start including everything else, you know, you might lose the person that you're trying to actually close. Do you understand? So identify the one thing so that when we speak, Mina, now, we know what is it that we're actually working on. Therefore, how can we better work on that so that it's able to create a market for you? Do you understand? So in terms of, don't want to be Amazon, I'll make an example. Amazon, their main core business or their power, it's distribution. Do you understand? Right now, you don't have capacity to distribute. Outsource that stress. Do you understand? There's a matter of hours, so Teboho owns Brima, the logistic company. They've got an idea called the black box, where it's for small businesses to be able to distribute. I mean, right now, to be owning trucks and distributing water is stress on its own. Why do you want to carry that stress? Focus on the one thing that you're good at and do that well. And everything else, outsource or plug other businesses or other people in what you do. But we can work on it. So.
Let's give Mr. Teboho a round of applause. Okay. This is where we close, but 2 last questions. Looking back at your life at this juncture, at this moment, is there anything you feel you would have loved to do differently? And then I guess that's the last part, maybe the last piece of advice to the entrepreneurs in the room, or any sort of advice you have.
Okay. So I think the one thing that I could have, or that I feel I could have done better, it was to choose better people around me. Let me repeat that. If there's one thing that I could have done better, is to choose better people around me. People abalambile, people that want better, people that want, because sometimes I've realized we're busy holding on to imithwalo. You know, people abangasijabuleli, people that right now bayahleka mabanawo bese when you turn your back, but yazi le cabanga ukuthi ingcono ikhohle ukuthi ubuya la elokishini. Do you understand? I mean, they used to say that about me. Do you understand? And it's because I was trying to make friends or having friends about the suburb and whatever. So that for me, I've realized, would say, sometimes holding on to these people because it's buya good, skula sonke, sifunda sonke, and not refusing to cut those relationships. Actually, it's one of those things that delayed me. Because the very same people, those are the people that I found myself in trouble because of Bon. The very same people, those are the same people aba keeping number ngami because of Bon. Do you understand? So there's a lot of things that I would mention that I've realized to say, choose people that, you know what, unconventional, even if bangafani nawe, or they don't move like you, or they don't talk like you, but you realize to say you could be able to learn from them and be able to do the most amazing things out of them. I think for me it's something that I think I would do different. So, and my parting advice to you as I close, Oguti guys, there's nothing different between you, whether it's Trevor Noah, whether it's Faith Mangope, whether it's whoever, whether it's Bulelane, whether it's me. So the only difference between us and you is because we're doing something, you know, with the little that we have. So reality is nothing will happen. Duduza, whatever. So if ever people that speak what you speak, give a takes perfect. Do you understand? Right now, I don't know how many times we've done that, and we always be driving a white villa drive a tembis. Do you understand? It's because people that wanted Lempilesi Pilayo, they were there. So, and for us, we realized it's in those circles that provoke you. Because reality is, once your mind is stretched, it can never go back. So now, as I close, I want to say to you, it's important to expose yourself. Expose yourself. So it means go out, attend events out there, go out, meet people out there, you know, get to see what is happening out there. If you need to travel, travel. Do you understand? But reality is, the more you, I mean, also we mentioned it, as you participate in other things, they get to expose you. You get to see what there's people on. You know, there's people that are doing different things. There's people that are doing this and that. And it's in that you realize, Oguti, in exposing yourself, that thing creates in sort of like a hunger. It creates good, I want this for myself. You know when the Bible says, for as far as your eyes can see, I will give you. So, because right now, there's no way which you will want something or that you'll never exposed. Guys, I'm trying to buy a Maybach and get driven. You know, because I'm seeing people in my life, hey, buy a driver, guys. Do you understand? So now, because of that, and because of seeing what you know, there's people that can live, Babuya Lokshini, La Lokshini, Bashale Lokshini, but now they're doing business globally. That had created an appetite. And you realize to say the minute you start tapping into these things, guys, they start responding to you. What you're looking for is also looking for you. If you're looking for success, success is also looking for you. Do you understand? So then it's you taking the necessary steps, exposing yourself. That's why right now, For you guys, you could be Saturday, you could be anywhere, but you guys chose to be here. So I think for that, you guys deserve a big round of applause. By virtue of you being here, you're meeting people you'd never meet on the street. You met me, now I provoke you. Do you understand? You met me, now I'm telling you to say, guys, there's a world out there. So right now we're living in a country where we're thinking, guys, there's no opportunity. Let me tell you, this country's got so much opportunity. But because because we do not tap into it. Because I can tell you now, if ever we didn't have opportunities, your NEF, your IDC, your many other organizations that are out there, they wouldn't be existing. As we speak, IDC have released 3 billion for SME funding. Do you understand? So right now, companies like myself are trying to tap into that to invest in businesses like yourself. Reality is, if ever there wasn't such opportunities, those businesses wouldn't be there. Do you understand? So reality is, there's so many things that you could do across different industries. Opportunities in this country are big. Opportunities in the African continent are big. I've got a friend that went to Nigeria. He's a middle person. Agana ne plant, agana whatever. Bamfunisa mende, bese from there. Came back to South Africa, found a company that does cement, and said, we'll supply you with cement. Guess what? The first order yake, it was 20 million US dollars. This man has never even held a million in his account. Bona meskijima, but some company sends this and this and this for him to be able to do that, just being a middle person. There's people that fly to China. Do you understand? That ship stuff. Do you understand? Bang understand. There's companies that you can really partner to that could even give you products on consignment. But reality is, you need to be wanting these things. You need to be looking out there and selling. Do you understand? So that's why it's important. Whose problem are you solving? What are you selling? Because reality is, if you're not selling a business that is not selling, it's not a business at all. Do you understand? Ungapumala, find something. Speak to people, and you'll be surprised. Go to the minute you start engaging and doing things, how some of these things could really respond to you, and you'll get to do amazing things. Perfect. You know, let's follow each other on social media. Let's talk. You know, and let's support one another. I'd love to hear about some of your businesses. Unfortunately, I cannot talk to everyone, but the reality is, you check Leosis. How many businesses are winning? How many businesses are winning? One.
The overall win.
Is it? How many pitches do we have? 4. Let's put the second winner. Ne? Let's put the second winner, right? Says, Kichima buyala lapha emuva uyobhala enye icheck ye 10,000 lapha for the second win. Hambo bhala icheck ye 10,000 for the second win. Asifake second winner nje. 10,000, yeah. So, yeah. So, asayobhala icheck ne asivaleni. So guys, imagine Bafethu. If a guy like me, if a guy like Bulelani, guys, we're not saying that we've made it. Siyazama. Aba Grotmani, Aba sister, we've got a lot of business people that we look up to that shut doors in our faces. Do you understand? So Tina, we just decided to become a different breed of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs that want better for other people. You know, we just chose to become entrepreneurs, which we don't only want to make money by ourselves, but make money with other people as well. So now reality is, now, do you guys know Story Sakabulelan? You guys must tell him to tell you his story one day. Do you understand? So he's also a high school dropout. But right now we're doing amazing stuff. So if you could imagine, some of you come from better situations than we do. So now if ever, with the little that we have, we could do so much, imagine what you can do. And right now, at least when you're already starting with us as access to save you, guide you, some of the troubles that we experience and some of the hardships that we experience. Guys, there's money out there. There is money out there. Don't let them lie to you. Ungabona statistics, there's 17 million youth unemployment in our current siyavuma. Yeah, but there's other people because right now they've got access to opportunities. Enterprise development in this country is big. You know, imagine that these companies are taking their profits and giving to people like you. Do you understand? And how many companies or even departments are sending back money because right now there's no projects. And then in an corner, opportunity. Do you realize? So now, one thing that you must pray now, most times, God must help you so that you see something that other people do not see. You know, and more than anything, give you the courage. You go to ubangena, back reject abangena, back reject abangena. Basically, from them, Kuyoze kuvuleka, angeke kuvaleke all the time.
Let's give Teboho a round of applause. Thank you so, so much, sir. Appreciate you. We've got a gift, Mr. Mlini. We've got a gift. And Duncan is going to take a photo. Is Duncan here? Oh, yes. Please, so you'll pose. This is your opportunity. I must stand on the side, but
Pose kanjani ngipheni pose bafethu. Eh?
Simangenya
Oh,
only
only
one.
one. Oh, is it? Right. Let's try it.